What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers just finished their Week 16 matchup of the 2025 NFL season on the road against the Detroit Lions. Both teams coming into this game at 8-6, fighting for different things. Pittsburgh fighting for the 4 seed right now in the playoffs, looking to wrap the division up before the end of the season, as Baltimore came in one game behind us, with us currently holding the tiebreaker, but still having a matchup later on last week of the season at home against Baltimore. So a lot riding on these next couple of games. Lions coming in looking to hold off Chicago and Green Bay in their division, trying to get the last wild card spot in the NFC. Both teams coming in 8-6 with a lot to play for, and this felt like your typical mid-December NFL playoff environment, loud stadium, a lot of things on the line, a lot of high stakes, very close game, very controversial, a lot of hard hits, a lot of injuries, a lot of smart plays, a lot of dumb plays. Whole lot of things to break down here. I am barely alive at this point. I might have had 14 heart attacks in this game. We had a late fourth quarter missed field goal, and I started tearing up because I started realizing no matter how much Pittsburgh was in control of this game, and it felt like Pittsburgh deserved to win this game, we were going to find a way to lose it, and we almost did just that. Pittsburgh holds on to win this game. A shock to me. I predicted in my preseason predictions game by game that Pittsburgh was going to get blown out in this game. I held true to that prediction last week when I talked about, when I posted on Wednesday from last week's game. I said Pittsburgh's going to get blown out in this game. This is the one game left in the year that I thought we had no chance to win. And boy, am I glad to be wrong. I'm glad that I am wrong on some of these predictions. This one I think everyone thought Pittsburgh was going to lose, so to come out and be so dominant in so many ways and then still almost kind of pull defeat from the jaws of victory, and the standard being the standard, I was really ready to concede the season. I was ready, if Detroit had won this game, to be heartbroken on here, and somehow Pittsburgh, by hook or by crook, escapes with the victory. We'll talk about it here. Offensively, Pittsburgh has what's got to be their highest total of the season. They had like 480 total yards on offense. If this is not their number one performance of the year, it's definitely in the top 3. Pittsburgh comes out against a pretty good Detroit defense that's been banged up and injured, so they've been kind of rough these last couple of weeks, really bad the last couple. Pittsburgh takes advantage. Pretty solid passing game overall, just a kind of a slow burn, short passing game, waiting for certain moments and certain plays passing wise, but running was where our bread and butter was today. Both Gainwell and Warren having big plays on the ground, Gainwell doing it through the air as well. In another one of the craziest plays you're ever going to see. DK Metcalf makes another one of the craziest things you're ever going to see, but it's not actually on the field. We'll talk about that as well. Defensively, Pittsburgh does a great job at taking Jahmyr Gibbs, who is a top 3 NFL running back. He's right up there with guys like Jonathan Taylor and Bijan Robinson as one of the absolute best in the NFL, Saquon Barkley. He's top 3, top 4, and they held him. I think Detroit in this game only has, where's the number? I wrote it down here somewhere. 15 total yards allowed rushing. 15 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs does nothing on the ground. Detroit really does nothing offensively at all. They had one good drive in the first half, and that was about it until the fourth quarter, and it became a shootout. This game was a defensive back-and-forth game full of a lot of pressure, a lot of short passes, a lot of getting behind the chains and getting into second and long, third and long, a lot of really methodical defensive changes and machinations to really be a slow-paced game for Detroit being such a high-powered offense. That's against what I thought it was going to be. And then all of a sudden, Pittsburgh starts taking off on offense and getting ahead of the game, and then playing too relaxed on defense and allowing Detroit to get big chunk plays to get back in the game. So Pittsburgh pulls away with a 2-score lead. Detroit comes right back in 2 minutes and scores. Pittsburgh gets another long run for another touchdown to put the game away. Detroit comes right down in 2 minutes and goes 70 yards and scores again. Then Pittsburgh gets a chance to put it away, gets a little too conservative. Detroit gets the ball back. So it turns from a defensive battle that Pittsburgh controls and controlling the clock very well, much like last week, and then all of a sudden Detroit has a chance to win at the very end of the game. So pretty up and down series of events here. Aaron Rodgers in this game, 27 of 41, 266 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions in this game. overall, pretty solid game for Rodgers. You could see he's getting frustrated with certain things, whether it's receivers running the wrong routes, missing certain throws by a little bit. But I think the play calling is what frustrates me the most on this. Now, again, I can't complain too much because we came out and controlled the clock for 2 games in a row. We put up 29 total points, 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals, and a safety. So we came out with a pretty good game plan, passed okay, ran very well, had a pretty balanced game. So I can't complain too much about 480 total yards. But that being said, so many screens, so many of the same dump plays over and over again, so much of Gainwell out of the backfield. And Gainwell makes a lot of guys miss and makes good plays. But too much of repetitive, predictive play calling, way too many screens and dump offs, not enough vertical opportunities, not very many good vertical throws when we got a few opportunities, and just the same kind of Arthur Smith offense. Also, throwing the ball short of the sticks. I hate calling a 2-yard play when it's 3rd and 5. I hate calling a play that you throw the ball 4 yards when it's 3rd and 9. You do not throw the ball short of the sticks ever. I understand that 1 out of 10 times you might catch a guy off sides, or you might catch him by surprise with a short play. You might get lucky and get a broken tackle, but most times, 8 or 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to get a first down and give yourself no competitive chance if you're throwing the ball short of the first down marker. So Arthur Smith play calling, I'm still giving a -2 in spite of the good offensive day. I'm getting frustrated watching all these screens and dump offs. It's not fun to watch. That being said, a good day for Rodgers. The 1 touchdown that he does get is a crazy play. Toward the end of the first half, Pittsburgh is going down trying to get a field goal to make the score 10-6 Detroit. Pittsburgh is trying to get their second field goal of the half in a pretty slow-paced offensive half for us. And then Aaron Rodgers throws it up. I think it's like a 2nd and 10. He just tosses up a one-on-one ball. Alex Anzalone, I think, was in coverage. Anzalone pulls Gainwell to the ground. Gainwell manages to catch the ball off the ground. He's laying on the ground as the kind of deep ball comes down. Anzalone pulls him down. Gainwell's laying there on the ground, grabs the ball off the turf, doesn't let the ball touch the turf, grabs the ball in a beautiful hands catch, turns his body and makes a beautiful catch, gets up without being touched and runs to the end zone. So gets pass interfered with, catches the ball while laying on the ground, gets up and runs it into the end zone. So instead of trying to get in field goal position, Pittsburgh goes and ties the game 10-10 leading into the half. So again, for a backup running back to make a hands catch off the ground, have the wherewithal to get up, make a heady play, get up and run to the end zone for a touchdown. Absolutely incredible. Kenneth Gainwell, once again, gets my biggest star on offense for 2 weeks in a row. This dude has proven to be the biggest steal on offense we've gotten all offseason. Kenneth Gainwell has proven his salt. I thought he was going to be a good 3rd running back, a solid pass catcher, and a good return guy. He's proven to be a lot more than that in Pittsburgh as a runner and a pass catcher, and just a general leader and a tackle breaker. What a day for Gainwell. Jaylen Warren, big-time star today. Biggest game in a long time, maybe his highest total of the season. 14 carries, 143 yards. That is 10.2 yards per carry. Incredible. And 2 touchdowns. 2 45-yard touchdowns. He had 13 carries for, what am I at here? 14 carries for 53 yards outside of his 2 big runs, but 2 45-yard touchdowns. Very good blocking. I'm going to call out the offensive line positively here in a second for what happened. But again, using Spencer Anderson, putting him on the end of the line and at fullback in the backfield, using Darnell Washington to block and seal the edge. Connor Hayward playing fullback, blocking phenomenally today. Those guys all get stars. Again, I'll talk about it a little further down here. But again, to have Gainwell doing what he's doing out of the backfield, and now all of a sudden Jaylen Warren has a decent day outside of the 2 big ones, but then 2 of his carries go for 90 total yards and 2 touchdowns. Beautiful cuts. Beautiful reads. He starts outside, jumps inside, and runs back outside, making nice cuts, reading the hole very well, following his blockers, getting a good block scheme, getting good play calls there, and finishing the play. So Jaylen Warren, gigantic day. Kenneth Gainwell, overall just a huge day with 128 total yards and a touchdown. Gainwell running the ball, 9 carries for 50 yards. That is 5.6 yards per carry. Again, that is only half of what Warren had, but still 5.6 yards per carry, especially for a backup running back, is great. 9 carries, 50 yards, 5.6 per carry, plus 5 catches for 78 yards and that crazy touchdown at the end of the first half. So getting it done as a blocker, getting it done as a receiver, getting it done as a field general, getting it done as a running back. Warren and Gainwell both have amazing days today. Adam Thielen, 4 catches, 49 yards. He became a really important third down target. Finally, for the first time, one of those two kind of new call-ups, MVS being called up and Thielen being traded for. MVS gets a touchdown last week. Doesn't do much of anything this week. He gets two deep balls that he could have had hands catches on. They were a little high. They were tough catches, but you got to make them. One, he was trying to tap the toes, and he couldn't get his feet in bounds, so he dropped the ball on the sidelines. MVS, the other one, has a shot for a deep ball that Rodgers threw a dime, like a beautiful, beautiful bomb. And it was a high and far, but it should have been caught. It was dropped in the end zone by MVS. And not a good day for MVS. Only 1 catch for him. But Adam Thielen, 4 for 49, one of the leaders today. He's the second leading receiver on this team. And for 3 of those 4 catches were third down conversions. He starts getting to the middle of the field, getting open, running good routes, getting himself open on key downs, converting on third down, moving the chains, picking up on one of Pittsburgh's weaknesses, middle of the field and third down conversions. Pittsburgh is not good at those 2 things. Thielen is, and he made his presence felt today. Good job, Adam Thielen. DK Metcalf, let's talk about it real quick. Had a couple nice plays, had a couple drops. His hands have not been as sure this year as they usually are. But let's talk about his biggest play of the day, and that's punching a fan. At some point during the commercial break, I guess a fan from Detroit had flashed a number 4 DK Metcalf jersey. So DK goes over, I guess, to sign the jersey or say what's up or whatever. And the fan baited him over there. He pulled the jersey up and was jawing at DK Metcalf. We couldn't hear the audio. I don't know what the fan said. In any case, you see the video. DK grabs the guy. He has a blue Detroit wig on. DK grabs the Detroit wig and throws a thrust strike toward the guy's face. You could argue it was like a slap or a punch. In any case, you're an absolute bonehead. You're an absolute bonehead. DK stands for drive killer because you could be killing our drive toward the playoffs, because you're going to get suspended and fined because you're an absolute moron. You do not do stuff like that. Now, granted, the fan was an asshole probably. He baited him with the jersey to try and be confrontational with him. We don't know what he said. The fan could have said the N-word. He could have said something derogatory about his family. He could have said something personal about DK's personal life. We don't know. But in any case, it doesn't justify hitting a fan. You do not do that because, number one, you're going to get in trouble. You're either getting thrown out of that game if you're caught, and he wasn't. The refs didn't see it, so he wasn't flagged or caught for it. But the league officials are going to see it. They have it now. It's on video. They showed it on the broadcast. So he's getting suspended next week. We don't know if he's going to miss 1 game the rest of the season. He's going to get fined, obviously, probably by the team and by the league at this point. So, again, I don't know what the fan said, so it could have been very personal and stupid. The fan could have spat at him or something. We don't know. But in any case, you shut the noise out and go do your thing. Play the game. You are a physical beast. You are a fast, strong, usually sure-handed leader who's been in the NFL for a long time. You know better than this. Mentally and physically, you know what you're taking away from your own pocket, what you're taking away from our team, what you're taking away from morale when you do that. You're going to get fined and suspended, and you're going to hurt our season and your own pocketbook, you idiot. Why would you do that? Why let the fan win? He was baiting you over there to get you to do what you did, and he won now. You should have turned around and said, screw you, buddy, and walked back to the sidelines, and then gone and got a touchdown. Get your revenge on the field. Get us up. Get yourself a nice touchdown. Win the game, and then shove it in his face like that. By throwing a punch like that, again, you're getting yourself taken off the field and fined. You're hurting yourself and us because you aren't using your head. The fan won today and you lost. Big negative for DK Metcalf. Get your head in the game, moron. All right, defensively. Again, 15 yards rushing allowed. Pittsburgh's defense does eventually allow 24 points in this game. Had a really good... it said first half was 10 points overall, 1 bad drive they allowed. Everything else, JPJ and company had shut down Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a top 5 receiver in the league, to 22 yards. They held Jamison Williams to 22 yards through the first 2.5 to 3 quarters. Who's one of the best number 2 receivers in the league. They really took a high-powered Detroit offense and took these guys out of the game, getting them behind the chains and playing great defense. Fourth quarter, Detroit starts finding a way around it. Khalif Raymond gets plays. Tesla gets a nice touchdown. Amon-Ra starts getting separation. Jameson gets separation. So Detroit kind of finds their way there. We did wind up with 3 sacks in this game. Keanu Benton gets one on a very nice swim move. Beautiful sack for Keanu. They also credit him for a forced fumble. I thought it was Jack Sawyer's arm that kind of made Gibbs fumble. Jahmyr Gibbs had a fumble off of a tackle from Sawyer. Sawyer didn't force the ball out, but he punched the arm, which then made the ball come out. It was Sawyer, in my opinion, but the stat sheet gives it to Benton here because I guess he was the nearest guy to the ball when the ball came out. So Benton gets a forced fumble. In any sense, Benton and Sawyer had some good plays today. Cam Hayward gets another sack. That's two games in a row with a sack for him. And Kyle Duggar gets a sack for a safety. So lots of good plays here. I want to give Jack Sawyer some credit. He made some plays early in the game. A lot of the defensive line were getting off the ball very well. They were counting the snap count very well. They were jumping at the right times and getting a lot of pressure early on. In the fourth quarter, Detroit found a way to kind of minimize that, get the ball out faster, dump the ball off, and keep our pressure out of the backfield. Early on, because Herbig and TJ Watt both were injured, didn't play today. So it was Highsmith on one side and rookie Jack Sawyer getting his first official start on the other side. And both guys made some plays. Sawyer made a few big plays early on, but was kind of stifled later in the game. Benton, again, got a few pressures. 2 nice quarterback hits. 1 resulted in a sack. So Pittsburgh doesn't get the amount of sacks they would like. They do get 3 and a safety here, but they don't get a lot later in the game. In any case, I want to give Benton some props. Derek Harmon came back in the game and didn't make any gigantic plays. I think he only had 1 or 2 tackles, but him being back in the game always lowers the other team's rushing numbers. And when you're a team that runs as good as Detroit usually does with Montgomery and Gibbs, and you hold those guys to 15 combined rushing yards, that's incredible. So I want to give that whole line, Cam, Harmon, Y.A. Black, Benton, they all been making nice plays here and there and putting together a good run defense in this game. Like I said, I also want to give the offensive line credit for Spencer Anderson for not only did Connor Hayward have a really nice, several nice blocks that allowed long runs, one for Gainwell and one on the long Jaylen Warren 45-yard touchdown, but also had a out of the tush push play, the Spartan. He turned around and handed the ball off to, I think, Gainwell for another first down. So they're using Connor Hayward well, and he's making the most of his opportunities at fullback. Make this guy at least a full-time fullback and get him on the field more for opportunities. The dude's very good. Washington had a fumble today. Bad play there because it was down in the red zone. Other than that, 3 nice catches, a lot of broken tackles, had a really good one, had some good blocks. Washington's just great. They're using him well also. Back to the defensive side of the ball. Kyle Duggar overall made some nice plays. JPJ, I want to say, big positive. Again, anytime that he was watching one of the 2 big star receivers one-on-one, barely allowed anything. Really nice. No penalties, clean plays. Jumped on 2 nice pass deflections, really shut down Detroit's run game or pass game, and was getting up on the short dump-offs quickly and making nice tackles, including the last play of the game when they threw to Amon St. Brown. So positive for JPJ, positive Brandon Echols, nice play today. Several chase and tackle plays, getting to the ball quickly. He got hurt, and Jalen Ramsey came down from safety. They put Chuck Clark back at safety, brought Jalen Ramsey down to play the slot. Hopefully Echols is okay. He's had a very good season overall and put together a nice string of games lately, so we don't want to lose him. Negative for Asante Samuel today. Did make a few nice tackles, but had a penalty when he got on a guy too quickly. Also did get beat on one crossing route. I want to say it was Tesla, and then he got beat on the touchdown when they crossed the other way to Khalif Raymond, the 4th receiver. Beat him pretty bad on a crossing route. He slipped and got beat. So bad day for Samuel here, following up after his nice interception. Chuck Clark had a nice day. He's got to catch those balls. He had almost 3 interceptions in his hands. One was just a really nice play overall. The other one, only one was a clear drop. One was a diving play that he made. Another one was a play on the sidelines that he read the play right. And the third one was a really easy pick that he dropped. He's got to catch those. But 3 nice plays in defense for Chuck Clark today. Positive. Best game of his Steeler career for sure. Defensively. Game comes down to a play at the end after a Boswell missed field goal where Detroit comes down. We get penalties all over the place. We start allowing big chunk plays. We're playing back too far on defense. Just so many things. And then all of a sudden, just at the end of the game, they come down several plays where Amon St. Brown scores a touchdown, but he gets called for the OPI, which is the right call. Then they get a false start. Then Goff throws to Amon St. Brown, but he gets stopped 1 yard short. But then he pitches back when the progression is stopped. Goff picks it up, dives in the end zone, gets what could be the game-winning touchdown with no time left, and then it's eventually called an offensive pass interference, which it was. He came down and pushed Patrick Queen, and it was a clear push-off. So that winds up being the saving grace for us. Detroit would have gone up with no time left if they had counted either of those touchdowns, the Amon St. Brown OPI, which was a pick play, or the Jared Goff fumble pickup touchdown, which was a clear call against Amon St. Brown pushing off Patrick Queen. So those calls are correct. In any case, it shouldn't have been as close as it was. Pittsburgh allowed too much on defense in the fourth quarter. They called too many screens on offense. They got too many penalties, too many things to clean up. That being said, Pittsburgh plays a good, underrated team. I know they're 8-6 and their defense is banged up, but Detroit's still a good team who's been a top of the NFC team for a couple of years now. And even with injuries and penalties, Detroit's still a very good team. Pittsburgh goes on the road, beats a team they were supposed to lose to by a lot. Detroit is good and fighting for their lives and we're playing at home, and Pittsburgh gets a win, putting together another nice win, getting to 9-6. Pittsburgh wins 29-24. They're now 9-6 with 2 games to go. Ravens are playing right now as we speak against the Patriots in what could be a good game. We have 2 games left. We're going to Cleveland next week and then playing at home against Baltimore in the last game of the season that could be for the division title and playoffs. So we will see how this shakes out. In any case, Mike Tomlin gets his 200th win, and being 9-6 now also clinches a no-losing season record, which I know all the fans love to hear about. So we'll talk about that in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe these Pittsburgh Steelers deep dives. Let's talk about this game in the comments. Who impressed you and who did not? This video has gone long because it was a crazy game. I hope I covered everything accurately and articulated myself well here. But Pittsburgh goes to 9-6. Please like, share, and subscribe. And let's talk about the Steelers going into our final 2 games of the season. Hopefully this one is the last heartbreaker, or heart stopper, I should say, of the season. Take care.